What's up, y'all? We back again. Oh man, listen, this is not a chapter review. This is actually a discussion because I just watched a discussion, particularly on episode 956 that just dropped, and also excuse my rudeness. Hello, halal, shalom, everybody out there, man. From here and there, near and far, everywhere. I hope you're doing well during the pandemic. I really hope you're getting safe, eating your vegetables, getting all that, man, and be good. But we rocking right now. A dope episode just dropped, 956. Now, I'm all caught up on the manga. I have videos on 998, 999, and chapter 1000, which actually leaked the other night. I will be covering that soon. So, be on the lookout for that. But for now, let's talk episode 956 because here's the thing. There's only one thing I specifically want to talk about, and that's Zoro. And as well his relations and connections to, possible connections to, Shimotsuki Kozaburo, the blacksmith of the Enma and Wado Ichimonji blades. Check this out, guys. I have been crazy nonstop going over the highlight of this episode because here's my theory. I have a big theory on this. Zangu Tangu, the current blacksmith on Wano, who was standing with Zoro as Zoro was training, he told Zoro that the man who created those blades actually left Wano country half a century ago. Now, half a century is actually 10 years. A century is 20 years. Think about this. Half a century ago, Zoro was actually 11 years old. But here's the thing. The man, the Shimotsuki Kozaburo left the country half a century ago, 10 years ago. But here's the thing. I don't think that Zoro was actually 11. I think he was 10 on the verge of turning 11. That's what happened. And here's my theory on that why. As we know, Zoro was about 10 or 11 half a century ago. Let's just go with that. When Kuina died, she was 11 years old. Kuina was a year older than Zoro. So when she died, I believe that he was 10 years old, still about to turn 11 in just a couple months. But here's my issue. When they were sparring the entire time at that dojo, they never used real blades until their last fight. And when they used real blades, they were regular blades. They weren't named. Because remember, they were fighting with bamboo any other time. And Zoro always lost. He always lost. Now, when you go back to their last fight and they made a promise together, they were using real blades. And like I said, they weren't named or famous or figureheads or anything like that. But check this out. There was an owl there. That owl, like I told y'all, I remember that I made a theory that the owl was actually Onimaru. But here's the thing. Given that the Shimotsuki clan in general has ties to shape-shifting and shape-shifting animals, I believe that it was actually Shimotsuki Kozaburo himself. He left Wano 10 years ago, half a century ago. Zoro was 10, about to turn 11 at the time. Kuina was actually alive when Shimotsuki Kozaburo was there in the East Blue. Because I believe that he was actually a shape-shifting owl. I believe he had the abilities to do that. Because remember, that owl that was in that tree watching them fight, the owl went to sleep when they finished their promise and they went to bed that night. But here's the issue. Zoro had to be 10 years old at that time because Kuina was still 11. That owl wasn't no regular owl. That was a shapeshifter. So that was definitely, I believe that was definitely Shimotsuki Kozaburo. So, the Wado Ichimonji. Now here's the deal. The Wado Ichimonji was also crafted by him. I believe that before he left Wano, he of course gave Enma to Odin, but he took the Wado and took it to the East Blue because the Wado was actually a family heirloom of the Shimotsuki. I believe that he made Enma specifically for Odin. And the Wado Ichimonji was specifically made for his son, Shimotsuki Ushimaru, but he died due to Orochi's plot. So they had to make sure that the blade goes to the heir of the wielder of the original blade, which would naturally have a son. So Ushimaru definitely had a son, so they naturally had to make sure that the blade got passed to the next heir. Zoro. So I believe that Shimotsuki Kozaburo left Enma with Odin, of course, because it was specifically made for him, but took the Wado Ichimonji to the East Blue because Zoro was smuggled out. They knew that Zoro's mother and his father had a plan in time to smuggle Zoro out. But the thing is, their grandfather, Kozaburo, was still there in Wano at the time. So once he learned of this plan, he actually agreed that the blade should be kept with the boy. So he left Wano half a century ago. Zoro was 10, about to turn 11 at this time. He left Wano, took the Wado Ichimonji with him. Now, how he left, I don't know. I believe he took the back entrance out. But then again, because I don't think an owl can fly that far, but an owl can fly, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a bird can fly if it stops at certain land spots along the way. Who knows? I don't know. But I believe that he took a ship halfway to the East Blue, then flew halfway the rest of the way. Maybe. But check this out. When he made it to the East Blue, and once he made it there, he went to the Shimotsuki village in the East Blue. I believe he either established it and built it himself, or it was already there. Either way, once he made it to the village, the Shimotsuki village, he went to look for Zoro. He found that Zoro wasn't there, or maybe stumbled upon Koshiro's dojo. Yeah, because he did. He went to the local dojos looking for Zoro, watching out like an owl bird in shapeshift form. This is theory. And I believe that once he found out that Zoro went to Koshiro's dojo, he made it there that night and to watch Zoro for a couple of months maybe. So he might have made, so who knows how long he was actually in the East Blue. That's the thing. So he could have been watching over Zoro for his entire year as Zoro was in his 10 years, his 10 age, at the age of 10. So as Zoro was like 9 turning the age of 10, maybe that's when Shimotsuki Kozaburo showed up and began watching over him. Once he discovered that he was like at the Koshiro's dojo. So once back again to Zoro and Kawina's last fight, the owl, that is Shimotsuki Kozaburo. Now, the Wado Ichimonji was only introduced when Zoro went to Koshiro to make that promise that he would fulfill Kawina's dream and take it upon himself to carry on her will along with his own. Now, I believe that here's the thing. Koshiro lied to Zoro because he told Zoro that the Wado Ichimonji was for Kawina and that it belonged to Kawina. But he lied to him in the process of giving it to him because here's the thing. That was a test. The night of their promise, that same owl that went to sleep, I believe in the same morning or dawn, he went to go at some point visit Kiroshiro and shapeshift out of owl form into his regular form and give Koshiro the Wado Ichimonji, say, this is for Zoro. Only when he proves himself, he must be given the blade, but only when he proves himself. But until then, you watch over it. So I believe that Koshiro took on that responsibility, but also was going to cover it with a lie that it was meant for Kawina once he revealed it to Zoro. Now see, Koshiro didn't say anything the whole time during Zoro's promise speech, because thing is, Koshiro started out talking about Kawina and death and whatnot. I can't remember his exact words, but he brought out the Wado Ichimonji for a reason, because he believed it may have been time with the great loss that Zoro suffered in losing Kawina. And I'm gonna get to that. I don't believe that she just I believe she still fell down the stairs, but I'm gonna tell you how. I believe I have a theory about that too. But check this out. I'm gonna continue my Shimotsuki Kozaburo theory. Now check this out. As Zoro is making his declaration, his proclamation to Koshiro, pleading his heart out, that is the test. See, Zoro pleading his heart out was actually a testament of how pure he was as not only a swordsman, but as a human himself. So he was so selfless and careless enough to throw away his own ambition and tie in Kawina's as his own and carry on her will. And he was willing to do that at any cost. And on top of that, he had 100% belief in himself. And that is the greatest strength of all, when you have no doubt and you have a full heart and belief that you can do anything. And that was his strength as a swordsman shown. And that was how he proved he was able and worthy for the Wado Ichimonji. So Koshiro, never telling Zoro about his family lineage to the Shimotsuki, knowing it the whole time, disguising the blade belonging as if it were destined for Kuina, when really Koshiro knew that it was destined for Zoro. Hence the big smile on his face once Zoro got done talking, he just gave it to him because he proved it with his declaration of his dream. It was Zoro's will, and it was also his strength and power as a swordsman in his will that showed that he was worthy. And that is why Koshiro gave him the Wado Ichimonji, because it was actually his blade and destined his blade the whole time, because it belonged to Shimotsuki Ushimaru, and it was created by the grandfather of Zoro, Shimotsuki Kozaburo, who flew it over, or took by ship, then flew into the East Blue to make sure that Zoro would have it, because Ushimaru died from being poisoned by Orochi, so they had to make sure that his blade was carried on to his heir. That's how you do it. If a swordsman or a warrior has a son and he's been a master in the father, if a swordsman is a master of a blade and he has a son, the blade would go to his son by any means necessary, unless it was just impossible. But in this case, it's not. So, at that grave site, I know what you're thinking, but we saw Ushimaru got buried with a sword. But remember, that's their area. So, and remember, they're shapeshifters. And Onimaru was watching over the grave all that time for a long time. But you don't know who was watching over the grave before him. So I believe that Ushimaru Kozaburo went inside the grave and took it and told Onimaru, you must protect the grave while I'm gone. I'm leaving. Of course, he took the Wado Ichimonji with him because Oden already had the Enma at that time, because it was given to him by Ushimaru Kozaburo. Kuina's death. Kuina fell downstairs. Now, I'm not denying that at all. I believe that still happened, but remember, Tengu told Zoro that the wielder of that blade, the maker, the man who made the Wado Ichimonji and the Enma, specifically made them to where the weak cannot handle them. He said that in an episode. They're not made for the weak to handle. Now, I think that's code for not only just weak physical strength, but also weak-willed. I'm not saying that Kuina was weak-willed, but check this out. I believe that one day when she was actually going to get the Wado Ichimonji, because they were going to use real deal swords again, and Kuina wanted to show off and use the sword that she was told was going to be hers, which was actually destined for Zoro. And this is what happened. It wasn't destined for Kuina. And because of that, when Kuina touched the blade, something may have happened. It may have sapped at her strength or something like that. Because here's the thing, they're not made for the weak to handle. And also, those blades are cursed and they're destined for a reason, for a specific someone. And it had ties to the Shimotsuki clan, and Zoro is a Shimotsuki. That's why he has been able to wield it the whole time. It's his blade. It's naturally his blade. It belongs to him by blood, by blood right. So Kuina doesn't have the blood in her to wield that blade, or the will itself, because check this out. I believe that when she held it, as she was going up the steps, the blade might have activated and tried to suck at her potential Ryuo that she never knew she could have, because she was a young age. Nobody knew what it was at that time. So as it sapped at her will, it caught her off guard into where it made her pass out and actually fall. And as she was on the steps, passing out, couldn't get her strength or catch her balance, she was losing grip of the blade, and she fell along with the Wado Ichimonji and died and broke her neck. She didn't just die by randomly falling down the steps. She died because she touched the Wado Ichimonji. The Wado Ichimonji activated its curse and actually killed Kuina by fate, because it was not her fate to wield it. It's Zoro's. And that's sad, man, but that's the reality. Kuina didn't just fall down the steps. She fell because she touched the Wado Ichimonji. She held it, and the curse activated, and it sapped at her Ryuo, or just her will, and it caught her off guard. And I just believe that after that event happened, after that event, that's when Koshiro believed that it was definitely time to see if Zoro was worthy to wield it yet, because it was time for Zoro to have it at that point. Koshiro suffered more than y'all believe, because the thing is, Koshiro knew that him telling Kuina that the blade was hers was kind of his fault. was a bigger fault of his own in her death. Koshiro really took it upon himself behind closed doors to blame himself for Kawina's death, because here's the thing, he hyped her head so much as a kid for it that it was meant to be hers, lying to her when it was actually Zoro. So when she actually went to go grab it, the curse activated. And I believe that Koshiro was warned about this. I believe that Shimotsuki Kozaburo warned him the night of the promise between Zoro and Kawina. The same next crack of dawn, Ushimaru, are in the same night in an hour or two, maybe, I don't know. In that same night or at the next crack of dawn, I don't know. Ushimaru, Shimotsuki, Kozaburo went to go see Kuroshu and told him, yo, this is for Zoro, only when he proves himself. But remember, you can't let anybody else wield this blade, even Kawina, because here's the thing, it's not meant to be handled by the weak or the weak-willed or anybody that doesn't have blood relation to the ties of this blade. So it's strictly meant for Zoro. Anybody else wields it or tries to, anybody else tries to wield it, take it out and wield it, then you're done. So here's the thing. I don't believe that she just touched it, and I'm going back to that. I don't believe Kawina just touched it and died. I believe that when she was carrying it, as she was going up the stairs, she might have taken it out, going up the steps. As she took it out to admire it, then it might have been activated when it was fully unsheathed. So I don't believe that she just grabbed it and then fell down the stairs and died. I believe that as she was going up the steps, mid-step, she took it fully out. She unsheathed it fully, and then the curse activated and she died. That's just what I believe at the moment. So that's my analysis that's just my analysis. I do believe that Shimotsuki Kozaburo is Zoro's granddad. I heavily believe it. I believe he made Emma specifically for Odin because he just saw that Odin needed a blade, and also maybe Odin asked him for it at the same time. Who knows there? But that Wado Ichimonji was a family heirloom, definitely, of the Shimotsuki clan. And once Shimotsuki Ushimaru died, they had to get it to his heir, Zoro, who got smuggled out of the Wando, sent to the East Blue. And once he was in the Shimotsuki village that was established in the East Blue, either when Zoro was a baby, as he was smuggled out of Wano, I believe that, here's what happened. I believe Ushimaru Kozaburo went with him, because I believe that the mother may have helped smuggle Zoro on the ship, and then the grandfather accompanied Zoro to the East Blue, established the Shimotsuki village there anew in the East Blue, and watched and let Zoro, like, I guess, drift and raise, I guess. I don't know, but watching over him the whole time, maybe. Or Zoro just could have been sent to the East Blue, and as he was sent there, there may have already been a Shimotsuki village established. But if there wasn't, and Zoro was actually accompanied by his grandfather, and it was established by his grandfather there, and then he was left there by the village people to be raised, while the grandfather went back to see about Wano. As he was there, maybe he was already in the East Blue the first time, and then he went back because he maybe was like, oh, I forgot the Wado Ichimonji. I'll go back and then bring it back. Or he could have just already had the Wado Ichimonji and left while Zoro had already been sent to Wano, instead of just going with him, sent to the East Blue, instead of just going with him to the East Blue the whole time. So either way, it's possible. This has been crazy, man. This has been an amazing episode. And also, these manga chapters have been phenomenal. Oda, you just keep doing us justice. You have been just on point during this whole Corona period. We just hope that your health gets up, Oda. Blessings to you, man. And we hope that you get better. All of us out there in this community. And much love to everybody a part of this community, man. This is an amazing story. I love all of you guys. And that's just pretty much my take, my theory. I believe that Zoro is the grandson of Shimotsuki Kozaburo. And that's why, man, this is all crazy how much fate this is tying in. And like, the Wado Ichimonji was a family heirloom of Zoro's the whole time. Koshiro only lied about it because he couldn't tell him the truth about what was going on, because Zoro was destined for something great. He had to go through his path. He had to go through his struggle. They couldn't just outright tell him. So Koshiro lied, but under that lie, he lost his daughter at the same time, because she actually fell for it and believed it. And as she went to go get it, she was walking up the steps, unsheathing the blade, and it activated. They said that she was looking for a blade sharpener, but I believe that she actually went and snuck the Wado Ichimonji out of behind Koshiro's care. And when she unsheathed it fully, not just when she touched it, but when she unsheathed it fully, the curse of the Wado Ichimonji activated. And it took maybe a little bit of her will and also killed her in the process because she fell and broke her neck, being caught off guard by its immense power. And it wasn't meant for her to, it wasn't meant to be wielded by her anyway. So that's also a big part of the reason why she died too. The blade was destined to Zoro by will and by blood right. That's my analysis, man. Hope you guys like this. Let me know your thoughts on the whole shimotsuki Kozaburo thing. I just believe it's amazing. I believe that he is a shapeshifter, and like I told y'all, the Shimotsuki clan has major ties to shapeshifting, and I believe that he did have a side ability of shapeshifting, and he turned into an owl, and he was that owl that was present on the day of their last promise to be the world's greatest. He went to sleep after the promise and maybe snuck off to go see Koshiro later on and giving him the Wado Ichimonji, telling him that he must keep it a secret from Zoro, but also that when Zoro proves himself, give it to him when he's worthy. And Zoro proved that after Kuina's death with his declaration to not only become the greatest, but also carry her willpower to become the greatest along with his as one dream. It showed that he was selfless. It showed his real strength as a samurai, as a swordsman, and he was worthy. That's why Koshiro not only gave it to him, but also entrusted him with Kuina's dreams, as he said when he gifted it to him as well. So that's just my discussion, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Peace. Remember, stay safe out there. Stay clean. Eat your vegetables. Consume your vitamins, all that. Drink water and drink lots of fluids, man. Just stay safe, guys. And I love this story, man. We all do. And remember, a piece of life is life in one piece. Peace.